Why did everyone leave this city? Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, stepping outside your front door, and discovering that everyone is gone. The streets are empty. The traffic lights still change from red to green. Cars remain parked exactly where their owners left them. Shops are filled with products that nobody will ever buy. A child's bicycle lies on the sidewalk. A school calendar is still hanging on the classroom wall. The clocks continue ticking, but there isn't a single person left. No voices, no footsteps, only silence. It sounds like the opening scene of a science fiction movie, but places like this exist. All around the world, there are entire cities that were once full of life and are now completely abandoned. Some disappeared almost overnight. Others slowly emptied over decades. In some places, nature has reclaimed the streets. Trees grow through cracked highways. Vines wrap around apartment buildings. Animals wander freely through neighborhoods where thousands of people once lived. It is as if time simply stopped. These places are often called ghost cities, but despite the name, there is nothing supernatural about them. The real stories are often far more fascinating, because cities do not simply disappear. People build cities for a reason. Water, trade, industry, opportunity, families, communities. Entire generations invest their lives into creating them. So, what could possibly make thousands, or even millions of people leave everything behind? War? Disease? Economic collapse? Natural disasters? Environmental catastrophe? Or something else entirely? The answer is all of the above. Throughout history, civilizations have learned one difficult lesson. A city can take centuries to build, but only days to abandon. Perhaps the most famous example is Pripyat. In the spring of 1986, nearly 50,000 people lived there. It was a modern Soviet city built for workers at the nearby Chernobyl nuclear power plant. The apartments were new, schools were full, children played in parks. An amusement park was preparing for its grand opening. Life seemed perfectly ordinary. Then, during the early hours of April 26th, everything changed. One reactor exploded. At first, many residents had no idea what had happened. They went to work, children attended school, families walked outside beneath an invisible cloud of radioactive particles. 36 hours later, buses arrived. Officials announced what sounded like a temporary evacuation. Residents were told to bring only essential belongings. They would return in a few days. Most believed them. They locked their apartment doors, left food on the tables. Toys remained on bedroom floors. Family photographs stayed on shelves. But they never came back. Today, nearly 40 years later, Pripyat remains frozen in time. Schools still contain textbooks. Hospitals still have abandoned equipment. The famous Ferris wheel never welcomed the children waiting for opening day. Nature has quietly reclaimed the city. Trees grow through apartment buildings. Foxes roam empty streets. Birds nest inside abandoned classrooms. The silence is almost impossible to describe. Yet, Pripyat is only one chapter in a much larger story. Travel halfway around the world, and another forgotten city rises from the sea. Hashima Island, better known as Battleship Island. Located off the coast of Japan, it was once one of the most densely populated places on Earth. Coal powered Japan's Industrial Revolution. Hashima became one of its most important mining communities. Families lived in towering concrete apartment blocks surrounded entirely by the ocean. Every meter of land was precious. Children played on rooftops because there was almost nowhere else to go. For decades, the island was alive. Factories operated day and night. Ships arrived constantly. The future seemed secure. Then the world changed. Oil replaced coal. The mines became unprofitable. In 1974, the company closed the operation. Within weeks, nearly everyone had left. Today, the enormous apartment buildings still stand. Broken windows stare out across the sea. Empty hallways echo with nothing but the wind. The island looks less like a former neighborhood, and more like the remains of a forgotten civilization. Two cities, thousands of kilometers apart, completely different cultures, completely different reasons for abandonment, yet both reached the same destination: silence. Which raises an even bigger question. If nuclear disasters and economic collapse can erase entire cities, what other forces have done the same throughout history? The answer is more surprising than most people realize, because some cities weren't destroyed by explosions, or earthquakes, or war. Some simply ran out of one thing humanity cannot live without: water. It is so ordinary that most of us rarely think about it. We turn on a faucet, we fill a glass, We take a shower. We assume it will always be there. But throughout history, water has determined where civilizations rise and where they fall. Some of the world's greatest cities were built beside rivers. Others grew around lakes or underground springs. Without water, farms fail, food disappears, businesses collapse, families leave. Eventually, even the strongest city begins to empty. One remarkable example can be found in the Namib Desert of southern Africa. Today, the abandoned town of Kolmanskop looks almost unreal. Elegant houses still stand where wealthy families once lived. A hospital remains, a ballroom, a school, even a bowling alley. At the beginning of the 20th century, diamonds were discovered nearby. Within just a few years, a thriving community appeared in the middle of one of the driest deserts on Earth. Luxury arrived where almost nothing had existed before. Fresh water was shipped in, electricity powered the homes, European architecture rose from the sand. For a time, Kolmanskop represented extraordinary wealth. But the diamonds did not last forever. As richer deposits were discovered elsewhere, mining companies moved on. Jobs disappeared. Families packed their belongings. Businesses closed. One by one, the houses were abandoned. The desert was patient. Year after year, the wind carried sand through broken windows and open doors. Today, entire rooms are filled almost to the ceiling with dunes. Nature did not destroy the town. It simply reclaimed it. Then there is a very different kind of ghost town. One that continues to burn. Beneath the quiet streets of Centralia, Pennsylvania, a fire has been burning underground since 1962. It likely began in an abandoned coal mine. At first, nobody imagined the consequences. Attempts were made to extinguish the flames. They failed. The fire spread through underground coal seams, releasing dangerous gases and causing the ground to crack open. As the years passed, roads buckled. Smoke escaped through the earth. Entire neighborhoods became unsafe. Families were relocated. Businesses shut down. Most buildings were eventually demolished. Yet the fire still burns beneath the ground today. Scientists believe it could continue for decades, perhaps even centuries. Imagine living above a fire that never goes out. Sometimes, the greatest threat to a city cannot even be seen. Not every abandoned city was destroyed by nature. Some were abandoned because history itself changed direction. Wars have emptied countless communities. Political borders shifted. Empires collapsed. Trade routes disappeared. A prosperous city can suddenly find itself isolated from the rest of the world. Without commerce, without opportunity, people leave. And once enough families are gone, the remaining businesses cannot survive. Schools close, hospitals struggle, public services disappear. Eventually, the city reaches a tipping point. The departure of one family encourages another, then another, until the silence becomes permanent. This pattern has repeated itself throughout human history, sometimes slowly, sometimes almost overnight. Today, another force is beginning to reshape cities around the world: climate change. In some regions, rising sea levels threaten coastal communities. Elsewhere, prolonged droughts reduce freshwater supplies. Increasing temperatures make certain environments more difficult to live in. Scientists continue studying how these changes may influence future migration. History suggests that when essential resources become scarce, people adapt, and sometimes, adaptation means leaving. Perhaps the most surprising lesson hidden inside every ghost city is this: buildings are not what make a city alive. People do. A skyscraper without workers is just steel and concrete. A school without children is only an empty building. A neighborhood without laughter becomes little more than a collection of silent streets. Cities are living systems. They breathe through the people who call them home. Take those people away, and even the greatest city becomes a monument to the past. Yet abandoned cities are not only symbols of loss, they are also remarkable time capsules. Because once human activity stops, time seems to slow down. Old newspapers remain where they were dropped. Dinner plates still rest on forgotten tables. Photographs wait inside dusty drawers. Children's toys remain exactly where someone left them years ago. Each object tells a story, not about disaster, but about ordinary lives interrupted. Lives filled with birthdays, morning routines, school days, family dinners, dreams for the future. When we walk through an abandoned city, we are not simply looking at empty buildings. We are looking at the echoes of thousands of human stories. Stories that ended not because people wanted to leave, but because they had no better choice. Perhaps that is why ghost cities fascinate us so deeply. They remind us that every modern city we know today is more fragile than it appears. Civilizations often feel permanent while we are living inside them. History tells a different story. The greatest cities of ancient Egypt, Rome, the Maya, and countless others all seemed unstoppable, until they weren't. Their streets once echoed with voices just as ours do today. Their markets were crowded, their homes were full of life, their people believed their cities would last forever. They were wrong. Maybe the real mystery isn't why people abandon these places. Maybe the real mystery is how quickly the world moves on after they do. Nature wastes no time reclaiming what humans leave behind. Trees split concrete, grass covers railway tracks, birds nest inside shopping malls, foxes wander through apartment blocks. The earth quietly begins writing a new chapter, as if the city had never existed at all. So the next time you see an abandoned building, or hear the words "ghost city," remember that every empty street was once someone's daily walk home. Every broken window once looked out on a family. Every silent classroom once echoed with children's laughter. A city does not truly die when its buildings collapse. It dies when its final story is forgotten. Perhaps that is why we continue exploring these forgotten places, not because we expect to find ghosts, but because we hope to hear the voices of history one more time. And maybe that is the greatest lesson abandoned cities have to teach us. Nothing built by humanity is guaranteed to last forever. But every place, no matter how empty, still has a story waiting to be told.